The hobby, comics, collectibles, it's all going to zero. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. So, interesting post that came out yesterday. I know that this one is a little bit more in the card side of the hobby, but I think it relates a little bit to everything kind of going on in collectibles and comics in general, certainly as it would connect to the blind bag side of the hobby and modern comics' surge compared to that of vintage comic books. But check this out right here. This is from the Collect Media Instagram account. It says Upper Deck president posts worrying message about current state of the hobby. We're going to get into Jason Masherah's particular take, talking about cards right now, how we're in a speculative bubble, and we're going to talk about that and see if there's any truth to what he actually has to say. A little bit of a preview. I think he might actually be wrong. But of course, before I get into it, if you guys could like, comment, subscribe, I appreciate it. Helps support the channel doing those things. But let us get into this post here today. Now, this is something that he put on his LinkedIn page. This, of course, is Jason, the president of the Upper Deck Company. He says this: everything speculative is up right now. The stock market, Bitcoin, trading cards, and it's pricing some collectors out. Here's what the data shows: 50% of consumer spending in the US is coming from 10% of the population. Rich people are carrying the market, not just in cards, but across every category. Concert tickets, $1,000 for nosebleeds. Luxury goods, selling faster than ever. High-end collectibles moving at record prices. When boxes cost 1,000 or more, you're not buying for fun anymore, you're speculating. You're betting that what you buy today will be worth significantly more tomorrow. And that works until it doesn't. Sports cards have always had speculation built in. You collect a rookie hoping they become a Hall of Famer, but what's happening now is different in scale. And when markets become this speculative, they become fragile. I'm not saying the sky is falling. I'm saying we need to be honest about what's happening. This isn't sustainable growth driven by collectors who love the hobby. This is wealth concentration driving prices that most people can't participate in. And if that money suddenly moves elsewhere to bet on something else, we will all feel it. Now, very interesting post, and it's kind of curious why the president of Upper Deck, who seemingly is benefiting from all of the madness that's going on in the collectible world, and particularly that of cards, would even issue a statement like this. I mean, for starters, we're going to take his statement at face value, and I'm actually going to weigh in on it. But let's kind of also analyze, why would he want to make a post like this? To me, this is a little bit of PR spin. Perhaps he's doing this so his employees could see this. Maybe there's going to be Upper Deck layoffs coming up soon. Maybe there's going to be, them losing their license for some things. Maybe there's going to be some issues arriving to the company, and he's kind of doing a little PR spin, sort of saying like, "Oh, you see, the card market isn't sustainable, and that's why we had to fire a bunch of employees, or that's why we had to, turn over this side of our business." That's my thinking when it comes to why he's making this post. But what's funny to me is that if you really think about it, he's not really saying anything at all. I mean, he's basically saying, well, the sky isn't falling, but at the same time, it's not sustainable and we need to be careful. It's like, okay, well, what's your point then? Because at the end of the day, people are still buying this stuff. It might be in a bubble, but frankly, everything is in a bubble. I mean, if you haven't watched everything that has happened over the last 25 years, whether it be crypto or the stock market or the housing market or collectibles, no matter where you put your money, everything is a bubble. Everything is fugazi. I mean, we no longer live in this era that is value investing and fundamentals. I mean, the fundamentals now are internet memes and jokes online. Like, it's whatever Donald Trump or Elon Musk tweet is going to be the thing that moves the market more so than their PE ratio. This is the world that we live in. This is what we've inherited, and this is the modern market. And call it a bubble, call it that everything is not sustainable, call it that everything is going to crash. Maybe that's the case. But last time I checked, they're still printing money. And that means that assets are still going to inflate. And that means that things are going to still go up. And the rich are going to get richer. And the poor are going to get poorer. And the rich are going to have to buy stuff. And the rich do buy stuff. So even here, when he's saying like, yeah, the top 10% of the population is buying everything, what does it matter? And that's why I think that this post is so interesting, is that he's kind of like framing this as like oh, cards are so speculative right now. But it's like, yeah, dude, that's the world. But, I digress on that. I'm not going to sit up here and pretend like I'm going to be some like finance guru. Okay. I'm definitely not. But what I am an expert in is somebody who understands culture and who understands the internet. I am somebody who has spent their entire life following entertainment, culture, internet, all that stuff. So there are things that I do know. And one thing that I can speak to is addressing his concern that the market is going to become fragile and saying that it's happening at a different scale. Therefore, it's too dangerous to continue. But what he doesn't understand is that, yes, everything is at a different scale. The modern world in which we live in, like social media, the internet, is perfectly suited for the craziness that is collectibles. I mean, this is not the 90s. A lot of people say like all these gimmicks, it's like taking us back to the 90s and look what happened at that time when everything crashed. I don't think that it's the same this time. I think that it's actually different. The difference being that this time around, we have social media, we have the internet, we have companies like this, whatnot, more than doubles valuation at start of 25, now worth $11.5 billion. The irony being that, this is from Collect Media as well. As soon as they had this post from the Upper Deck CEO, they also announced that Whatnot had its PR announcement of doubling its revenue and its valuation going to 11.5 billion. And it just kind of goes to show that, online selling, this influencer world that we're in, these collectibles, all of this stuff is only just beginning. You have Tom Brady opening up sports cards stores. You got people coming into this. You got influencers that are literally like hanging out with celebrities. You got King of Collectibles, Ken Golden, putting on Logan Paul, onto his reality show, and Logan Paul promoting all the Pokemon stuff as he goes onto WWE wearing a Charizard on his neck. You know what I mean? It's like this is the perfect machine because it's everywhere. People constantly see this. Not to mention that the young kids see this as kind of the way out, when all things look hopeless. I mean, you think about like how, things are going tough in the economy, like the job market is screwed, like, Gen Z and Gen Alpha, they can't afford houses anymore. They have to pay, double the rents that millennials and Gen X had to pay, and they can't make money and they can't hold down jobs. Well, you know what they can do? They can start a social media, they can buy Pokemon cards, and they can flip their way to the promised land. At least that's the dream. I mean, that's why you have things like DraftKings getting so big, that you have Polymarket getting so big, you have Kalshi getting huge, you have all these meme coins and crypto and all of this stuff because everybody who is young is looking for that lotto ticket to be able to get rich. All they do is spend all their time on social media watching people make $1 million in their sleep because of Amazon drop shipping or whatever it is the case that they do. And they all see this dream and they all buy into that hope because, frankly, they have no hope. At least that's what they tell themselves. I mean, they do have hope, but you have to understand, for a lot of the people that are young like that, they see this as, the way out. And this is why collectibles and gambling and degen behavior and memes and community and just trying to find like your way and just trying to belong and get over the loneliness epidemic. It's all in this collectible world. It's all in this space. And you can call it a speculative bubble. And maybe it is a speculative bubble in that sense. But at the same time, that's also the new norm. I honestly find it surprising that, the president of Upper Deck is making the statement. And I realize that there's a lot of people in the comments section that agree with his take or are saying like, I've been saying this for years. I totally agree. But I don't know. I'm not convinced with that. To me, that feels a lot more like, copium. And I understand that this is like kind of a bold take coming from me. And maybe, you guys are watching this video and you disagree with what I'm saying. And I'm not trying to say that's like you guys are wrong or that, this isn't all crazy and the speculation is a bad thing or a good thing. I'm actually, pretty neutral when it comes to this. I'm sort of calling it like it is. And that's to me is really the point I'm trying to make, overall in the video is that I genuinely think we live in a post-fundamental market world. We live in clown world. And I think that you guys would agree with that. We definitely live in crazy world, you know? Yeah, like Bitcoin. Does it have any value? Is there any intrinsic value? No. People buy what they believe in, and you can't rationalize somebody out of a position that they haven't been rationalized into. And so, if they're out there and they're buying, collector booster boxes or like, trying to rip wax, and they're trying to get like the chase pull, even though they have like a 0.000001% chance of actually getting it, they would rather spend all that money trying to pack rip or get blind bags or whatever to get that one big hit for that one comic book versus buying a actual vintage comic book that is worth that and having it go up over time. Everybody is just trying to win the lotto. This is just the world that we're in. And so I just think it's interesting that he came out with this statement. And I know a lot of people like agree with him, and they're like, "Yeah, I've been saying that things are in a bubble, and I've been saying that things are overpriced, and it's all going to come crashing down." But I don't know, guys. I've seen a lot of those comments. I've seen a lot of people say like, "Oh, all these comics are so overpriced," and like, just wait, Hulk 181 is going to go back down to $100. And it's like, to me, a lot of the comments are more hopeful thinking, or maybe it's rational thinking, but it's kind of misunderstanding the context of the world that we're in. But what do I know? I'm just a guy with a YouTube channel. I'm certainly not the president of Upper Deck. I mean, I'm sure he knows something that I don't know. Maybe we're all going to zero tomorrow, but I don't think that this is slowing down anytime soon. I made that statement in my blind bag video where I said, "Oh, this might be the end of the blind bags." And immediately after I posted that video, I realized, yeah, that was kind of a dumb statement. Well, what am I talking about? Look at how many more blind bags we're doing. I mean, Mark Spears is doing winter blind bags. That already sold like a bajillion copies. We got Marvel coming out with their Ultimate Universe blind bags. I'm sure that people are going to go crazy after that. I saw the people in the comments section when they made their PR announcement about it, and everyone's like, "Oh, I can't wait to buy 10,000 of them." People are going to pour money into this. They're going to say on one side of their mouth, like, "Oh, I can't wait to buy 1,000 blind bags of Marvel Ultimates." And then they're going to also say on the other side of their mouth, "Oh man, I wish I could afford $1,000 wall book." You know what I mean? Like, that's the mentality that people have. Everyone is looking for the shortcut. This is why gambling is so popular. This is why DraftKings, all this stuff. This is why people like the dopamine. They like the chase, and they're going to continue to speculate. And we're going to continue to live in this bubble, which is, in my opinion, the new reality. Anyways, that's all for this video. That was me kind of just going on a little bit of a soapbox ranting about this stuff. I don't know. I'm kind of just shooting from the hip right now. Again, don't take anything I say as gospel. Certainly it's not. I mean, I'm probably wrong with everything I just uttered, but at the same time, I kind of feel like I'm not. We'll check back in 5 years. We'll see if collectibles and Bitcoin and AI tech driven companies all go crashing. Maybe they will. Anyways, that's all for this one. Let me know what you guys think about this. What do you guys think about the president of Upper Deck statement here? How do you guys think that this relates to the mania that is card collecting right now, the mania that is comic book blind bags? Do you think that we're in a bubble? Do you think it's all going to come crashing down? Do you think that Jason has a point here? Or do you think this is the new norm? Let me know in the comments. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. See y'all in the next video.